Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm bringing you another guide from Project Diablo 2 Season 12 beta. This is the closed beta, meaning that I don't have access to any slams, and I think this is the kind of build that will enjoy slams a lot, so beware, this build is a lot more powerful than this guide will make it look like, and it's going to make it look pretty good. Today we're tackling the ultimate dat build, the one button master, and it is the Summoner Creeper Druid. So what is the Summoner Creeper? It's a build that relies on Poison Creeper to do a lot of your damage. Not all of your damage, but a lot of it. And we're going to show you how you do it. There's a bunch of ways to tackle it. It's actually a build that has a lot of room for creativity in terms of your gear and a lot of different options, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to showcase just like the kind of like the baseline and what you can do from there. So the way you want to level this, so we're going to start talking about the skills and attributes, then we'll go into gear, and after that I'll do a demo and we can all enjoy it together. So the way you level this is, of course, you max the free creepers because there are synergies for Poison Creeper and Rabies. That's already most of your points, and you will be relying on Gust as like a main transportation mechanic. So you will want Gust at the highest level, being 30. This is where the cooldown caps, so of course you'll be putting points into Gust to be at level 30. So as you can see, very point hungry kind of build. We're already down to 8 points. You will want an Oak Sage, which is the spirit you'll be summoning, so 1 point in Oak Sage. As you can see, it's already very high level, and you will want bears as well. You want as many bodies as you can on the field. The last points can go into Oak Sage. Right now it shows that I'm level 97, but I only have but I'm missing like 3 points from skill quests because I didn't complete them. So this is more like level 94 kind of skill points. And we'll put the last points in Oak. It doesn't really matter where you put it in. Really, you can put it in a lot of different things, but we'll put it into Oak. Anyway, that's an example of how you set up this build. The main important part is points in all the synergies, 80 points for the synergies and Poison Creeper, and level 30 Gust. So that is kind of like the core of this build. For the attributes, you'll want to have strength enough to wear your gear, which normally will be either 185 or 165. And for dexterity, you want enough to have maximum block. This is a max block build. It is very important that you go max block because this is part of the safety of this build. The rest you can put into vitality. I personally don't put anything into energy on this build. Let's talk a little bit about the gear now. For the gear, the idea is you want to have as much plus skills as possible. So obviously that is not available during the beta, and you'll want to have as many plus skills just to get, you know, your summons to as high a level as possible. You want to get the Poison Creeper to the highest level that you can. So the gear we're using in the beta is Heart of the Oak for a weapon, but on the live version I recommend crafting a +5 or +6, +7 even club to Poison Creeper. It is possible, it's very difficult, but it is possible. So I recommend doing that. We're using a Spirit Ward shield. Again, if you're using a Spirit Ward, you want it to be slammed with +1 skills. That's the ideal. A +3 other shield could be fine, but Spirit Ward has the best block chances for you, so going with a Spirit Ward is what I'd recommend. Spirit Ward with +1. These are pretty expensive, so this is again a very expensive build when you min-max it. For the helm, using an Alders, I put a bunch of bears in it, but you really don't need them. I tested with and without the bears, and it's really okay to not have them. I'm just putting them in because we didn't have anything else to put there. So I'm using Alders. Alders with +1 all skills is actually not as expensive as other helms. It will give you +5 to your summons. You can also use Rare Pelt with +5 to Poison Creeper, or use something like a Spirit Keeper that would let you summon 2 spirits instead of just 1 spirit. So you have a lot of options there. You can go with whichever one you think is the best for you. I'm using Arcanes. You'll want, of course, an Arcane slant with +1 all skills. Any +3 skills armor would work, so also Steel Carapace is just as fine if you'd like that, so that also works. For the belt, we're using an Arax because it's +1. The rings are plus skill rings. BKs or SOJs are okay. You don't really need a Wisp for this build. Occultists for the FCR. Your goal in this build is to have either 68 or 99 FCR, preferably 99 FCR. So again, getting some FCR is important. Of course, during the beta, I didn't get as much FCR as I wanted, but you can get 99 pretty easily. That's your kind of target for this build. For the boots, we're using Marowaks for they cannot be frozen. And lastly, the amulet, we're using Mars just to get our resistances and plus skills. Ideally, on ladder, you'll use a +5 amulet for summoning skills, or just a blue +3 amulet. As many plus skills as you can. Remember, that's the goal. That's the idea. Of course, you can just put runes instead of bear runes in your sockets. The sockets are pretty much free. You can put in them whatever you'd like. And because you don't really care about life after each kill or mana after each kill. You don't really care about anything that sockets give outside of resistances and physical resistances, pretty much. So that's what I recommend. On the swap, you don't have a CTA on this build. You have your pre-buff setup. So what you're hoping to have is, I say pre-buff setup, but it's basically your summoning setup. So on your swap, you'll have the setup with which you want to enter the game, and I'll explain this quickly. The way summons work is that however you summon them, like let's say I summoned my poison creepers, I summoned them at 49, that's the level that they are. So if I swap back to my main setup, this is level 48. As long as I enter the next game with the Mangsong equipped, that will be the level at which they are summoned. So as you can see, you can pretty much enter like this, then you swap, and you're back to your main setup, but you got snakes that are at level 49, not at level 48. I hope this kind of makes sense. This is how you play these kind of summon builds. So you want one side, right, one layout where you have as many plus skills as possible, you know, plus free shield, a +6 or higher one-handed club. Is preferred, so something like that is what you're looking for. And on this setup, you want to have enough FCR to travel around, and enough plus skills so your gust is a good level, and a good shield that you can block with, and of course as many plus skills as possible. So that is kind of your goal. That is kind of what you're looking to do with this kind of build. I get that it's all a lot to do, but this is a very fun build, and you can do it just like I do it right now. You don't need to do all these plus skills. These plus skills are just to take the build to the next level. So I will show that without all of these plus skills, this build still is incredibly powerful. So that's the gear that we used. That's our swap currently for the beta. That's the best I could do, +6. So just forgive me for not showing anything crazier than that. For the skillers, for the charms, we're using summoning skillers, of course, because that's our main form of damage. I got some small charms with Rez, Torsion, and Annie. Of course, we're missing plus skills on the Annie as well. And that's basically your gear in your inventory. Now let's talk about the mercs. The mercs have a lot of options. You can actually run Act 1 merc, Act 2 merc, or Act 3 merc. All of them have viable options. There is the classic Demon Machine merc. You know, you give her a Demon Machine, a lot of damage, Fortitude, or sorry, not Fortitude, Innocence to proc the Demon Machine, Veil of Steel, Bolts, CBF, and as much damage as you can. So that's one setup that you could go, and it is very powerful. It's very strong. Another setup that you can go is with the Act 2 defensive merc. That setup is a little bit safer, so even more that build viable, as they say. I think they say that. You can keep that, and you can keep that too. Actually, don't keep that. So there's one part of the setup, or you could do an Act 2 merc, for example, with Plague Runeward. Plague Runeward will cast Poison Nova, which also deals quite a bit of damage, but also casts slower resist, which is really nice. This one rolled only 1 to all skills, but it's not really a big deal. I'm kind of confused with all of the gear. Sorry, it's just a lot to take in. And I think I'm missing a pair of boots that I wanted to give to him. So I'm just going to give him this for now. There we go. So normally I'd want to use Ferocity, but we're going to use V-Gaze just because the setup is already prepared. And I'll put the ranged Mercenary setup in the stash. So both of these setups are incredibly strong. Both of them work just as well. There's also an F3 setup, but it's a little bit more complicated, so I prefer to not mention it in this video. So let's show kind of how this build gets played. I prepared a few maps here, 2 or 3 maps, normally considered a little dangerous maybe. So again, I summon all of my summons. So the dire wolves, the wolves, the snakes, and the oak sage. So again, we got all of these things set up here. We got our merc ready to go. And now we're going to jump into the next game, and I will show you kind of like how fast this build plays around. Okay, so again, merc using plague and innocence, that's the main core of the build. Like innocence and something that you're proccing. I give him a bunch of leech and PDR just so he stays alive. Let's hop into the next game. We're of course with the Mangsong equipped, as you can see. And now I swap over to this setup and I walk in. You want to have your gust as your main attack. That's the only button you'll be pressing. And as you can see, I'm only teleporting. I'm personally holding the teleport button pressed. Now you'll see that like wherever you go, things are just gonna die. And the way this works is that your poison creepers do insane damage. And wherever you teleport, your merc will basically cast either a low resist or extra damage. And that way you'll just be teleporting, telestomping, very safe. Your snake's supposed to heal you. Generally, you don't even need rejuves for this build normally. So, yeah, incredibly safe. And again, I'm just going to teleport around to showcase this. This build does skip bosses. It does not kill bosses because it just cannot do it. It's not capable. As you can see, incredibly powerful build. I'm playing only with one hand right now, by the way. I'm not even worried about using potions. You see that pack over there died. These packs will die. Everything dies from this. It's one of the most reliable DAT builds I've ever seen. And it really does just take holding the right click to teleport, not even to attack. No potions needed. Turn brain off, hold the right click. In all of its glory. Now again, this is a build that will get stronger outside of the beta, because the main way for this build to do damage is to get more plus skills. So of course that it may look like this build is already endgame, but it can get a lot stronger than this. And yeah, generally I really think this is going to be one of those really strong builds. Now in terms of speed, if we're just talking speed, because safety obviously, as you can see, it's extremely safe, like without me doing anything. Like I'm never getting hit. Like I only drink potions for mana pretty much. And even that, like you don't necessarily have to if your mana vines heal you. So in terms of speed, the fastest that I managed to do this after running 20 maps with this was flat 5 minutes. A friend who kind of was the mastermind behind this build, called Dream, he swears by it being able to do a lot less and closer to 4 minutes. I personally haven't seen it yet, so I'm still being a little bit skeptical, but is very, very strong. And of course the power level outside of the beta is going to be stronger, so anything's possible these kind of builds. Since you are really just teleporting, it's possible that you could just clear a map in 4 minutes. Yeah, that would be really cool if you could do that. Of course, the boss, as I said, we are skipping. And for some people, I'm sure this build may seem like a little boring because you are only holding right click, but for some people, this is just what they're looking for. So no judging, okay? I personally think this is really cool, just the fact that it works. I think is really, really awesome, and I really appreciate that. You know, that's part of the beauty in D2. Always finding like things that work differently and like a new way to experience the game. Right, so I personally really like it. You can see we've been in the map 3 minutes. I wasn't trying to go fast or anything, but already, like, even though we're going about it very casually, we're clearing the map very fast. Of course, like, I already got like a sub 5 clear on this, but it was like on a not as a dense map, I would say. So I don't know if I would consider it like the standard. Most of my clears were about 5 minutes to 5:30. When I'm trying to clear it a little bit faster. But as you can see, I'm barely drinking any potions. We drank, I think, 1 for mana. And a lot of learning how to play this build is just learning how to teleport properly. It sounds silly when I say it, but I actually had to learn it myself too. Like how to teleport, how to telestomp, like at what distance do you wanna drag like creeps or mobs. But yeah, as you can see, extremely powerful. I feel like if I try to go fast on this one, we would have probably gotten another sub 5, but who knows. This was, of course, I'm testing with density that is like about 100 and higher, because in the beta you can't slam maps. But the highest I've gone already was, I think, 150 density, which is already pretty dense, and the clearing speed doesn't really go down. It doesn't really care how many monsters are there, it just telestomps and kills everything. So yeah, overall, this is the build. Again, super casually doing 5.5 minutes without even paying attention. I think this build is incredibly powerful with a lot of extra potential that is yet to be discovered, and I think a lot of people could have a lot of fun discovering it in Season 12. With that said, I hope everybody enjoyed this video whenever it came out. I hope you use it whether in Season 12 or in future seasons. And if you did enjoy this video or you learned something from it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really supports the channel and helps me dish out all these hopefully helpful guides to you. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next stream or on the next video. Until then, have a good whatever you're having. Bye bye bye.